Gather up your projects, settle in your favorite spot. It's time to stitch with Sarah at her stitchy Camelot. Let's celebrate each other, this community we've got. It's time to get down to Sarah's stitchy spot.
Hello everyone, my name is Sarah. Welcome to my FlossTube channel, where we will discuss and celebrate all things cross-stitch. Grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and join me
at Sarah's stitchy spot.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and this is FlossTube number 18. It is Wednesday, March the 1st, 2023. I don't know where January and February went, but I think here in California they were either rained or snowed out. But anyway, welcome to you all. As I do with every video, I would like to start out by sending my husband a big thank you for writing and performing the song that you just heard. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope you like what you see and that you will ring the bell, subscribe, like, share, and do all the things that we do on FlossTube. For my returning viewers and subscribers, a big hello and lots of love. You guys have pulled me out of the fire more than you can imagine over the last couple of weeks. So a big hello. You all know what you mean to me. So what have we got today? I would like to do a little what I call housekeeping, and of course we'll go over a previous finish. I have just a little bit of crochet that I thought I would share. I have a new start. I have some previous finishes, and I have whips, lots and lots of whips. So that should keep us busy for the next several minutes. So let's just dive right into it. I do want to give an update. Little Vince is just growing like a weed. I'm going to put a picture of him right here on his blanket that his nanny made. He, I think, is going through a bit of a growth spurt right now, and I think he's exhausting mom and dad, but you know, babies do that and they'll get through it. But he is just, he's just doing fine. Chester continues to do well as well. So we're all good here in Northern California. So let's get started. So the first things I want to do is what I call a little bit of housekeeping, and high on that list, and it will be reinforced when I show a finish, was to thank all of you for noticing that the F was missing on the red sampler pincushion. I don't know what I would do without you guys. And in fact, not only was that noticed, I had only put one arm on Ira Ray, and you will see that today because that will be a finish, and someone brought that to my attention. That one I really truly think I could have missed completely. So thank you to all of you, and please never hesitate to let me know when you see something like that, because most of the time I would fix those things. Okay, so thank you so much. Next, I meant to do this last time and I just simply forgot. I'm going to put a photograph here of a bag that was made by one of my viewers. Her name is Liz. I believe she lives in Australia. She sent this in response to my discussion about how I would like to start incorporating some of my smaller finished pieces into project bags. And she shared that beautiful bag that you just saw. As you can see, that is Barbara Anna's Dreaming Girl. And the pattern that she used is from Nicole of darvanaleedesignsstudio, and she is also in Australia. And Liz says she has a FlossTube as well. So I will put all that information below. But I just really wanted to share that particular bag with you because it is very different. It was unique. It was beautiful stitching and just a wonderful way to use our cross stitch. In line with that, I was going to share a quote that one of the viewers, Anne shared with me, again, about using our cross stitch in ways that are everyday use, such as project bags. And she gave me this quote from William Morris, and it just really hit home, and I loved it. So I thought I'll just share that quote real quick. It said, "Have nothing in your house that you don't know to be useful or believe to be beautiful." So I think that just applies to our community and all of us. And thank you, Anne, for sharing that with me. And so I wanted to pass that along to all of you. Next, I want to mention the Instagram address for caroling55, and I will put that below. She is the one that either organized, started the hashtag 12 and 23 ornament sal. I had mentioned that in a previous video, but I did not, I wasn't sure at the time who the Instagrammer was that had started that, and I wanted to make sure to give her credit for that, because right now I think a lot of us are trying to finish an ornament, one ornament each month, so that by the end of the year that we would have 12. And I did show you my January submission, and I will have a February to share with you in just a few minutes. So I think that is my housekeeping. I wanted to give some shout outs, and I'm basically just going to shout them out. Because there are several here, but they are some FlossTubers that are new to me, and actually very new to the FlossTube community. And I hope that you guys will write their names down, go over and subscribe and like and do all the things that we do. So the first one is Mandy with Clark Stitch. That's all one word. And again, I will link all of these below. Mandy is a OBGYN. And she has a daughter. So as you could imagine, her time is not quite what the time would be for a retiree, but she does have a love of stitching. She is also working on her fellowship in reproductive and endocrinology and reproductive medicine. So she's very busy and has a lot on her plate, but she's using cross stitch as a stress buster. And so if you could, go over and give her a hello and some support. Sarah with Mod Cross Patterns. I meant to, again, this was one I meant to shout out last time, but Sarah she lives on a farm and incorporates into her videos just a little bit of the farm life, which I have really enjoyed. She just did a whip parade. So go over and give Sarah a hello. Heather, the 20-minute stitcher, I just found her from a recommendation, and so go give her a look. Also, Hillary at Rustic Thread Stitching. I have watched her and subscribed, and again, encourage you all to do the same. And Erica with Look What's in My Hoop. Erica is, again, a working mother. She is an ICU nurse. And as you can imagine, over the last several years, her job has been quite stressful with the COVID pandemic, and she uses her cross stitch again to relieve stress, as we all do. So that is Erica with Look What's in My Hoop. And finally, Bonnie Post Muse. She lives on, I think, the edge of Cape Cod, if I understand it. She also is working as a postal worker. And she has a real joy of, she likes to do collections of things or things that have seasons and months. And she's quite enthusiastic and loves cross stitching. So I wanted to mention all those. So, go give them a look, subscribe, welcome them into our community. And so I just wanted to do that. All right. So I think I'll do a couple of previous finishes. And one of those previous finishes, since most of you seem to enjoy the necklace I showed, I made these earrings as well. This was a style of earrings that I was very fond of. I mentioned to one of the viewers I had almost stopped wearing earrings during the pandemic because of taking a mask on and off. But I do like my earrings, and so I've started trying to wear them and remember to wear them. So I thought I would share those with you. But this was a style that I particularly enjoyed doing. And in mentioning that, thank you all so much for all the wonderful things you had to say about my stitchy spot, and specifically about Stan's woodworking skills. You can see this beautiful table that he made in the background here. But it seemed that you guys did enjoy that, and you were very, shall we say, kind about the fact that you knew I probably had only cleaned that up, particularly for all of you. My husband has a saying that he refers to me a lot, that nature abhors a vacuum. Yeah, if you give me an empty space, I can fill it. Just like that. So thank you guys so much for all those kind comments for the stitchy spot and for Stan and all his work. Okay, so the other stitching previous finish I wanted to share with you was, and I can't remember, someone else was showing their pieces, but it is a Paula Vaughn. We all did them. We all loved them. There we go. But they were so gorgeous. And you know, it amazes me, because to me, this looks so hard. And it was obviously stitched on an Aida, 2/1. And it looks very hard to me compared to the samplers and the things that I'm stitching now, with all the back stitching. And but I've always loved this piece. It frightens Stan because she's headless. Those things disturb him. But anyway, I do love it. So that is Paula Vaughn. I'm not really sure the name. This was done a long time ago, but a characteristic design by her. So that is my previous finish. And then, so that I can make room for whips and the things that I have on the table, I was going to share with you guys, I finished this Afghan. I have done 3 or 4 of these Afghan patterns, which are free on Attic 24. She usually puts out 1 a year. Just to go to the blog is incredible, because she does such things with color. And this one was called the Dahlia Spike Afghan. So I will show you what that looks like. I want to get to the front of it. Yeah, so this is the front. And you can see these spikes that are created. And I did it where I just kind of went through the colors. She gave you a couple of ways of doing it. And it goes all the way into those colors, and then finally into these colors. I will link her below. I still have about I think it's actually 6 rows of a border to do on this, but it is so worth to do the borders. I know Stacy, the 911 Stitcher, has I think completed one of her blankets, and like I said, I think this is probably the 3rd or the 4th one that I've done, and I really enjoy them. I get the she does a yarn pack through Wool Warehouse, which is in England, which comes so quickly. It's very economical. Shipping is minimal, or it certainly was when I ordered that, which was probably 2 or 3 years ago. But because I really prefer to cross stitch, I just work on that every now and then. But I was so close to a finish. It's been so cold here in Northern California, it kind of felt good to have it on my lap as I cross stitch. So I just wanted to share that with you, and then I'll bring it back when the border's on and let you see that. So that is called the Dahlia blanket, and it uses the Dahlia spike stitch, and I will put the link to her blog below. Okay, so I think we will go to finishes. Okay, so my first finish is my ornament for February. And this is Prairie Schooler. I just did a little pillow finish. Oh, Vanna, I mean, yeah, don't look at my corner. It's not perfect, even with my precision turning tool. But I did do just a little bit of stuffing. I put a little button and a little metal tag here that says holiday. And I did stuff it from the back because it was so small. And I just ironed on a little felt die cut back there. So this is from book number 28. And that's my Prairie Schooler. That's my ornament for February. So the next piece that I finished is already is on its way to the new owner. I will put a picture of the finished piece here. This was Next Door by Heartstring Samplery, the home of the Funky Bird. And again, all of you were so wonderful and so supportive, and the Funky Bird stayed as stitched. I had stitched it on a 36 count up in the attic by Fox and the Rabbit, using most of the called for. I did substitute a Mrs. Seda silk and pine needles for a couple of the colors that I didn't have. Importantly about this is that one of you mentioned, which is exactly along the lines of what happened. This was a piece that I took with me when Eva was in labor. And so removing those stitches would be like removing, that memory. And so thank you for suggesting that and letting it look that way. So the person doesn't know this is coming, but when they get it, I just want to remind you that even though it has a really funky bird, it was stitched with a lot of love. So, okay, that was all right. And then Mr. Ira Ray got finished by the Good Housewife. And this is the chart. These charts were given to me and will be passed on in perpetuity by Julie of Running with Scissors, Stitching with Jane and Julie. I am pretty completely decided that I am going to do project bags with the two of them. I think I'll put one on each bag, but this is the finish. And I will show you this arm I had not put at all. This was completely gone, and someone said, I don't think you put Ira's other arm on there. So this is stitched on 36 count terracotta by XU Designs. I used the called for DMC. And that is Mr. Ira Ray. Isn't he a dapper gentleman? He's just waiting for the love of his life. So that one is finished. I will put the other one on this I've got a lot of the same fabric left to put that on. And then I also finished my piece for Winter Cross Stitch Camp that is hosted by Sheri of Colorado Cross Stitcher. I stitched the red sampler pincushion from this book, Keeper of the Pins, by Brenda Gervais. And the, well, you're going to see what it's going to look like because I will show you the finished piece. I started it on February 1st, and I actually finished it on February 28th. But I got it done. I am stitching this on a 36 count Winter Wren by Fox and Rabbit and using the beautiful Cosmo thread, 2241. Is that right? Yeah, 2241. And this is the finish. I guess technically there's just a couple of things left off. I did put the pins here, and I am going to put a couple of beads there for the top, but I don't want to do that until I put the interfacing on the back. I am going to make this a pillow. Let's see, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, O-P. Oh, the tomato is the O. Q-R-S-T-U-V-W-X-Y-C. We have an alphabet, folks. Thank you, guys. Because it was such an easy fix. It could have been much more difficult, especially if I'd started stitching the lower rows off of the top row, which was incorrect, a letter short. So that is Red Sampler Pincushion by Brenda and Laura with Thy Needle and Thread. So those are my finishes. Just in case you hadn't seen my project bag, I'll just show it again. That's what I'm keeping that in. I know it doesn't have tomatoes on it or anything, but I just love it. So this time I did pretty good. I finished Ira Ray. I finished Next Door by Heartstring Samplery. I finished the Red Sampler Pin Keep, and I fully finished my ornament, my Prairie Schooler. So that'll be ready for the tree. So those are my finishes. So what are we going to do next? Let's see. I think now we will go into my new start, which is also haul, because since I've seen you last, this arrived. Brijin of the Museum Stitcher started a start along, just a stitch along, no pressure, for Oh Joyous Day by Blackbird Design. And I thought I had it, but it was actually another Blackbird design. And so I told her that I would stitch it with her, and I didn't have it. Well, of course, you just get it. Well, I'm trying not to do that, but that is what I did for this, because I wanted to stitch it with her. And also, I know Katie, the novel stitcher, is stitching it, and Roberta of the Sable Stitchers has also jumped in. So I'm hoping a lot of you will. There is a hashtag, Joyous Day Sal, and I encourage you to post so that we can all follow each other's progress. So this is the pattern for Oh Joyous Day by Blackbird Design. I am stitching this on a 36 count. Oh, the flannel flower. This is the first time I've used that, and I love it. By Fox and Rabbit. I'm using all the called for overdyed floss. And this is my start. There'll be a couple of threads. So this is the start on Oh Joyous Day. And I am so excited because I think this is one of my first eyelets. And I think it came out pretty good. There's going to be a lot of satin stitch. I'm kind of leaving that towards the end. There's a band, I know for sure, across the top and the bottom. But I'll get that just a little closer. These are the threads, all the overdyed floss. I've got some of them on my bling, and then some that I haven't had to use yet. I haven't put on, but gorgeous colors. So that is Oh Joyous Day. Again, it is a stitch along hosted by Brijin at the Museum Stitcher. And if you want to see it just one more time, because it's so pretty. Look at the fabric. It's just gorgeous. And that is just about 2 days work I did on that since I've started it. So that is my only new start. I know that's shocking. But now we'll jump into whips. And again, my whips sort of resemble a whip parade. I just jumped in and had fun and touched a lot of things this time. So we will go right to it. The first one will be Sweetheart Hill by Plum Street Samplers. I started this on Valentine's Day. And it says, I belong with you. I am stitching this on a 36 count steel blue by XJU Designs with the called for overdyed flosses. And this is my progress. So I did finish his jacket, got some buttons on there. I got almost the whole top row of the windows done. I am working towards trying to get some outlining done, especially on the house, so that I'll just have some fill-in to do. Oh, that's that thread. It looked like I had skipped a stitch, but I haven't. So that is Sweetheart Hill by Plum Street Samplers. Okay. We're going to see if I can continue to stand these up without a major fall. We'll see. Okay, my next one is Mary Snow by Hands Across the Sea. This is a stitch along. It's Hats, H-A-T-S, first month of the week, Sal. This was started by Laura, duet of Brenda and the Serial Starter, where you pick a Hands Across the Sea and stitch on it for the first week of the month. So I have done January and February, and she did get 7 full days on of stitching for 2 months. And I am stitching Mary on a 36 count winter wheat by Color and Cotton, and I'm using the called for DMC. So let's see what we got done this time. Okay, so we have brought the border down and across. I started in this corner right here and got that flower done. I love that 321. It is beautiful. So that is Mary Snow by Hands Across the Sea. And I will link, put the hashtag down below for a lot of you are participating in this, and there are some beautiful Hands Across the Sea. It is just, again, it's a whole section of eye candy of these beautiful samplers. So next, we will go into the red sampler Thursday. Actually, red sampler Thursday, last week was red sampler Wednesday because we were scheduled to start Oh Joyous Day on Thursday. So I will go back to Thursday, but I wanted my full day on both pieces. And those are, the first one is Ursilia's Sampler by Samplers in My Attic. This is a piece that Jean Lee of the Attic owns, and she had professionally charted. I purchased this when I was at the Attic in January for Sampler Symposium. I am stitching this on 36 count Just the Ticket by Tabby Cat, and I am using a Belle Soie silk in the colorway Tulip. And this is my progress. Let's see what we did. I think I started going more across the top. Actually, I went down and across the top last Wednesday. I love this this border. It's so beautiful. So this is Ursilia's Sampler by Samplers in My Attic. And it is one of 2 pieces that I stitch on for Red Sampler Thursday. So let's fold this up. Yeah, this is maybe just a tiny bed sheet. You know who you are. Okay, let's see. And then the second one is Mary 395. And this is the chart. This is by Hands Across the Sea. It is a Bristol sampler. I got to get down into more of the geometric designs. I am stitching this on a 36 count antique ivory Edinburgh, using Gloriana poinsettia primarily, and a couple of the alphabets I have done in Hollyberry. So my work on this is, I gotta make sure I'm not opening up Ursilia again. I am. Excuse please. They both look quite a bit alike. Okay, this is, okay, there we go. So this is Mary 395, and you can see across the bottom on both sides there. I have done more of the flourishes and geometric designs. So that is Mary 395. And they will get their Thursday tomorrow, which I always look forward to. Okay. So that is that. Next is, this is just, again, this is something that just called to me on that day, and I just wanted to work on it. I had started the Strawberry Manor Stitch Along, and of course I know that that has been completed, but it called out to me, and so I did give it a day since I saw you last. I am stitching it on a 36 count summer khaki, and by XU Design, and I'm using the called for DMC and overdyed floss. It's a beautiful piece of fabric. And so that is, I worked over in this area at the fence, a little more on the house and the border. I don't think I've touched this since last year. But she is coming out with the new stitch along for her Patreon whimsies. And she has posted her color palette. She's going to be stitching it on Overcast by Cedar River Linen. And I do plan on starting it. So that is Strawberry Manor, the Mystery Sal for Patreon members of Teresa Kogut. Okay, my next piece is Pandemic, which, as you all know, I will stitch on as soon as we are done here today. This is the picture. It is by Long Dog Sampler. I am stitching this on a 32 count platinum Lugana and using 310, DMC 310. And I did move. I started working in a different area. I have this in Pattern Keeper, and as you all know, or most of you know, with Pattern Keeper, you don't see any type of back stitching. So where I was working from both Pattern Keeper and the paper chart. Let's see, where did I work? Yeah, I came up into this area right here, and I'll hold it up. You can see where it's dropping down. I had done primarily the work that is the lowest there. And so I wanted to kind of come up and even it up a little bit. So that is Pandemic by Long Dog Sampler. This one is a bed sheet. It qualifies. I always think every time I show this to you guys, you know, I think I pretty much know that I've got enough fabric. I should cut it off, but that's usually as far as my thinking goes. And then I quickly forget. My next piece is again, this was one that just called to me, and I actually, I couldn't put it down. I think I put a couple of days in on it, and that's A Heart Remembers by Blackbird Designs. The chart is, I want to be sure I can show it without. So that's A Heart Remembers. I had actually started this back in May of 2022. And I had quite a bit done. And I feel like I got quite a bit more done. I'm stitching it on a 36 count doubloon by Picture This Plus, and I'm using the called for overdyed floss. This is one of those that I have purchased the overdyed for the entire book. So I should be able to just pick up and start something whenever I want out of it. And this is my progress on A Heart Remembers. So I did border work. I did work on, I think, this, finished that flower. But just look at those colors. To me, they're just exquisite. So that's A Heart Remembers by Blackbird Design. I just pretty much want to stitch everything that's in this book. The next piece is, it's always kind of a surprise. Oh, it's Martha Evans. So this piece, this is Martha Evans by the Scarlet House. And it was the piece chosen to honor Brenda of Brenda and the Serial Starters' 60th birthday. It's hashtag Brenda's Big Birthday Sal. This is a special piece to me in a lot of ways, but one is this is the first time I've worked on 40 count linen. It seems to be going fine. I try not to jump from a 32 to this on that day. I try to just stitch on this for the whole day, but it seems to be going well. I'm using the called for DMC. Oh, here's the chart. Sorry. So this is Martha Evans, 1879, by the Scarlet House. And this is my progress so far. Another big piece of fabric. I finished the bunny. And I did these little critters here. I did this bird. Whatever that is, like a basket the bird's sitting on. I took the border across and down some, but I think the colors are showing up just beautifully. And I enjoy the fullness of the one strand of DMC on the 40, but you know, you guys know me. I actually stitch one strand over two on 32 count and seem to be pretty happy with that as well. So that's Martha Evans by the Scarlet House. Oh, and I'm stitching this on 40 count Prairie Grass by Seraphim, and I love that. In fact, that is what I stitched, and you can tell they're quite different, but that is what I stitched, the floral motif sampler, which is behind me. I did the Prairie Grass by Seraphim. So, okay, so that is that piece. Next, we've got, I think we're going to go into my 25th stitching, which I'm trying to work on Christmas pieces. And so I worked on 3 pieces on the 25th, and one of those was a Christmas rose by Blackbird Designs. This was a Christmas start. This is, again, another one that I'm doing to honor my mother because her name was Eva Rose. And I'm going to put her initials in the box. I am stitching this on a 36 count Rin by Picture This Plus. I'm using the called for over dyed floss. And this is my progress. So I worked on the bird and the tree, and I think I did a little more of the banding, the borders. What can you say about Blackbird? Everything. So that's a Christmas Rose by Blackbird Designs. And I'm trying to stitch on Christmas on the 25th of each month. And normally on the 24th, they all went down, but I'm just gonna let it stay. On the 24th, I normally work on Feast of Friendship, which was a piece to honor Leanne of Barb's partner in Lost in Floss. But the 24th was tied up with Oh Joyous Day this month, but I will get back to putting that back into the 24th rotation. So, well, I'll have a lot of fun with that when the time comes. Anyway, so my next Christmas piece, which I absolutely love this as well. This is Christmas Delivery by Cottage Garden Samplings. Katie, the novel stitcher, is also working on this, and she's actually a lot further along. She's got a lot of the sleigh and the presents done. I did a start over in this section. I am stitching this on a 36 count eucalyptus by Fox and Rabbit, and I'm using the called for DMC. And so I pretty much got his beard finished this time, and I'm working on that sleeve. But that beard was the gray and white that looks so similar. So I'm glad to have that done. I love the cardinal. I think if I wasn't so into samplers, and really and putting just sort of the bulk of my time into to getting those done, I could pretty much live with a cottage garden. Is it Samplings? Cottage, my goodness. Yeah, Cottage Gardens. I could sort of live with a lot of the stuff that they stitch and be very happy. I think it's quite gorgeous. And then the other little piece that I did work on was this out of that book number 28, The Prairie Schooler. And this is the one that when I showed you my Happy Mail from last time, I have one of the Adam original stockings that I will be able to do one of these stockings on. So very excited to start that. And I just put a few threads into the little sampler one. But I did come down. I finished this whole row and started down here. I know that the white is kind of ghosting, but I'm gonna leave it. I think it'll be fine. You can see it a little bit better in real life. So I'm stitching this on a 36 count Cola by XU Design. It was just a little piece that was left over. I'm using the called for DMC. So those were the three pieces that I worked on for the 25th for my Christmas stitching. So next we will go to my focus piece, which is moving right along. I really had kind of thought I would finish it this time, but that's Thurza Priscilla Dawes. I'm stitching this on a 36 count Eureka by Fox and Rabbit using the called for DMC in the Age colorway. And I will put a picture of the finished piece there. And this is my progress so far. I'm just really, wow, there's a lot of threads. You haven't seen anything yet though. Anyway, so I'm just down in that right corner. Is that right corner? I don't know. It's my right. But the two birds are done. I really feel like that's going to be a finish for March with 7 days. So this is Thurs of Priscilla Dawes. It's by Hemlock and Rye, which is Julie of Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World. A little girl that has stolen my heart. And this is my 7-day focus piece. I work on, I pick a piece to work on for 7 days. As you all know, I stole the idea from Karen of the Recovering Monogamous Stitcher, and I am noticing that a lot of you, either FlossTubers or subscribers that comment, are kind of leaning towards choosing a piece to focus on for 7 days. But it's really remarkable how quickly it moves the piece along. So I'm very pleased with that. My next piece is my 2 threads, 1 thread, 25 minutes, and that is Temperature Butterflies. And I know it probably seems a little silly because 2022 is over, but I love the piece so much, and I was more than halfway done by the end of 2022, and I do want to finish it and make it into a pillow. So I am stitching this on a 32 count Summer Storm by, I'm pretty sure it's Seraphim. Oh, it's on here, right here. Yeah, Seraphim, Summer Storm. So October's butterfly is done. I have the infrastructure done for November, and I've started that last butterfly. And finally, as you can see, the colors are starting to reflect some cooler temperatures. But this is Temperature Butterflies by Stitchin' Mama. And I try to put a thread in or 2 every day. Okay. And then my final piece, and I'm just going to so apologize up front because I've been working on it for the last 2 days. And so there's been a bit of the someone called them working threads, and I thought that sounded better than dangling threads. But anyway, I've got them, whatever you call them. And this is the Red Deer Sampler. And this is the chart. This is by GGR. I am stitching this on a 36 count 1001 Nights by XD Design using the amazing Vicki Clayton silks. And this is where I am. And in all seriousness, I know it could be distracting, but because there's a lot of color changes in these flowers, I do have threads everywhere. But as you can see, I have started the deer. I moved over and I was continuing to take the border over so that I don't leave that for the last. And then I dropped down and I've gotten these flowers done in here. I love it on this fabric. So this is Red Deer Sampler by GGR. Again, there are so many of you that have finished this piece. There are so many that are starting it. It is just, it calls to us, doesn't it? So those are my whips. I didn't count them. One of these days I will. I always feel weird when I see someone's whip parade and they show, 15 whips, and I can show 15 whips in 2 weeks, but I have touched them all. So those are my works in progress. Now I will go to haul and happy mail. So my first is happy mail. And it's not directly stitching related, but it does have a connection. I actually reached out to Phoebe of Moonshine Stitchery, which if you guys aren't watching her, you need to be. She dyes her own fabric. She stitches on beautiful pieces. She's just remarkable. She's very organized. She shows you everything very well. And I really, I just encourage you to go check her out. But she also has a company that makes nail polish. So I figured that someone that did that could make a recommendation to me for like a cuticle oil, because, you know, we do try to keep our hands nice and soft because of working with silks and threads and such as that. So as everyone is in this community, she said, I will send you some. She makes it herself. She sells it on her website, and I will put that link below. So, but did she just send that? No. So here's what she sent. This is the cuticle oil. And it comes, you know, with one of these little ball rollers. And this one is called Lemon Tartlet. And I cannot tell you how good this smells. I mean, my husband even thinks it smells good. And so you can rub that on and then rub it into the cuticles. So that is, and she's got tons of different fragrances. So I do that at least 2 to 3 times a day. Then, but that's not all, she sent a sugar scrub. Now, you know, I get to say things like this because I'm old. I have tried a lot of products. I mean, cuticle oils, fingernail polishes, scrubs. I can't describe to you guys what happens when you put this on, because you scrub it and then it just becomes this lotion that it just makes your hands so soft. So that's Moonshine Manny, and it's a sugar scrub. And again, these come in all these beautiful fragrances that you can do. So, and then look, I don't know if you guys can see, I don't wear fingernail polish, but she picked something so perfect for me. Do you just see that hint of color? So she sent this, and the name of the color is Not Over You, which I loved. But it shines and it catches the light, and there's pinks, and I just don't know how to describe it. And I'm so sorry, Phoebe, I don't have pretty nails, but I feel like they're pretty now to have that. So thank you so much. And I will put her website below. And for those of you that like to go for real color on your fingernails, you've just got to look at her colors. They're beautiful, and the quality of the fingernail polish. So I know that sort of sounds like an ad, but I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, this stuff is really great. And Phoebe, thank you so much. And she also sent a skein of baked apple by Weeks Dye Works. So really, I mean, how cool is that? So that was my happy mail, which really makes me happy and makes me feel pretty. My other haul was the person who's trying not to spend money, but Brenda and Laura did this. I did get Florence Mary Dickinson from Hobby House. I was afraid it would go, and then I wouldn't have it, and then I wouldn't be able to get it. So there's no over one. It will be a perfect piece for me. So I did purchase it, and especially now that we're working, you know, the first week of each month on a Hands Across the Sea. I will have another one to put into that repertoire. So that was from the Hobby House Needleworks in New York. And then Linnie of Sable Stitchers, you made me do this. She showed, I don't know if you guys have ever seen these. They're little prairie schooler, these little mini cards. So, I mean, I will, you know, I know I'm usually really good about holding things up, but I just want you to see how cute they are. Look at that. So this is like a Halloween and Christmas. I don't know how many. I got them at 1, 2, 3 Stitch, but I don't want to just show each and every one because there's several in a little group. And I got 3 of the 3 sets, And again, they were from 123 Stitch. One set is, well, like this. It has these little things. I know this isn't really very good. They're just all varied, but they're just little quick and easy stitches for ornaments. I just had to have them. So I did. But they're not expensive. They're very practical. So that was so my haul included Oh Joyous Day and the threads for that, and then Florence Mary Dickinson, and then the Prairie Schooler. So that, and then my Happy Mail. So that's my haul. My plans, which I always notice that when I watch my video after we get through, I don't ever say what my plans are, but I'm going to try to remember this time. I want to, obviously, the first week of the month will be for Hands Across the Sea, which means that I will probably give myself 2 extra days. I'll probably stitch through the 9th because today I'll work on Pandemic and tomorrow's Red. So I'll probably really start on the 3rd and I'll go through the 10th, but I will give it the 7 days. On Mary Snow, I will continue to have Thurza as my 7-day focus. I would like to start the Mystery Sal with Teresa Kogut. I want to finish another ornament for March for the 12 and 23 ornament sale. And then, of course, I will just continue to keep picking up pieces as I do to stitch on over the 2 weeks. So I think that covers that. Again, if you are new and you did like what you see, I hope you will like and subscribe and ring the bell. For my returning viewers and subscribers, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. That it just sort of gets it out there a little better. I continue to thank you for all that you do. I always say it takes a village and a cross-stitch community to help Sarah finish a piece. But you guys were so helpful. You're so kind. You're so supportive. It's always just one more thing to look forward to in the morning, to sit down and read your comments and answer them. I love each and every one of you, and I hope life is going as well as it can. And again, I want you all to know that I keep you in my heart. So thank you. I actually think I remembered everything this time. I think I've covered it. Oh, you know what? We'll just kind of go out on this. There is February. I obviously haven't started March, but I tried to put a lot of Valentine stickers, but it is completely filled out, and I will start working on March. So I did sort of forget something. I didn't show you my planner, but I think everything is covered. So I will ask you to grab your stitching, get comfortable, and stitch what you love. And always remember to move forward in love. So you guys take care. I love you. Bye-bye.